There are many knights and knightly orders throughout Thedas, but to be a Chevalier of Orlais is something special. They have been at the forefront of every Orlesian military action for centuries, and are regarded as a dangerous foe even by their most hated enemies. The Chevalier are the most prestigious knightly order in Orlais, and arguably all of Thedas. As the elite military force of Orlais, only the nobility are permitted to join their ranks, and it is often an encouraged path for younger, landless sons and sometimes daughters to achieve additional status. It is scandalous but not unheard of, however, for commoners to falsify records of their lineage in order to be accepted for training. One infamous individual known as Le Mage du Sang, the Blood Mage, who was actually a gifted forger of documents rather than an actual mage, has made a reputation out of conjuring noble lineages out of nothing. The Chevalier have their roots in the Empress Arm, the personal guard of Empress Genevieve Draken, granddaughter of Emperor Cordilis Draken, and herself responsible for popularizing many Orlesian traditions, such as the wearing of masks among the nobility. Originally, only men were allowed to join the order, but that changed in the Storm Age with the now famous story of Ser Aveline. As the story goes, Aveline was born to a family of farmers on the outskirts of Halam Sharal. The farmer had hoped for a son and, rather than take on another mouth to feed, left the baby girl to die of exposure in the woods. Instead, a clan of Dalish elves stumbled upon the crying babe and adopted her into their band. She was raised as one of their own, trained in all manner of weapons. By the time she was grown, Aveline was larger and stronger than most women, and the best fighter among the clan. Knowing her talent as a warrior, the elves encouraged her to enter a tournament near the city of Montsamard to display her prowess, and knowing that women were not allowed to become knights in Orlais, the elves crafted a suit of armor with a full helm to disguise her gender, and gave her a finely crafted sword of ironbark. Aveline fought as a man, claiming to be a knight from Antiva, and proved to be one of the most skilled in the tournament. One of the many knights she bested was the son of the Emperor, Prince Freyan Valmont. She refused to take off her helmet even during the archery competition, yet she excelled even then. Then, in the Grand Melee, Aveline encountered a chevalier named Kaleva. He served the Emperor personally and was regarded as the greatest warrior in Orlais, yet Aveline matched him blow for blow until Kaleva grew frustrated and desperate. He tripped her and threw her to the ground, knocking her helmet off in the process. Kaleva was shamed and angry that a woman could come so close to beating him. He declared the competition invalid, but the crowd favored Aveline and jeered him. Enraged, Kaleva turned and shouted, "Know your place, woman," and slew Aveline before she could regain her feet. Prince Freyan had been impressed by Aveline's skill and daring, and was horrified by the injustice of her death. When he ascended to the throne as emperor in 744 Storm, he knighted Aveline posthumously and opened the ranks of the Chevalier to women. Women are still more rare among the Chevalier than men, but those that do join honor Ser Aveline as their patron. The training undergone by Chevalier at the Académie des Chevaliers in Val Royeaux is grueling. Chevalier are drilled in proper fighting forms, breath control, how to identify different pains to recognize their own injuries, and intense endurance training, including fully armored tree climbing and a moving bladed pell, a pell being a wooden training device used by knights as a practice target. Chevalier prefer heavy armor, but are also trained to fight with light armor or none at all. They are trained in a variety of weapon styles, from large two-handed swords to sword and shield to a sword and dagger in tandem. They also study how to combat less traditional foes, such as how Templars approach fighting mages, how Grey Wardens fight Darkspawn, and even how to combat the possessed corpses of the undead. Honor in battle and in dealing with one's foes is paramount among the Chevalier, to the point where some will defend a hated enemy to prevent dishonorable death, and they do not condone the torture of prisoners. This is not to say they will not take advantage of any weakness they see in their opponent or act opportunistically. How faithful a Chevalier will adhere to this honor will vary to the individual, of course. Among Chevalier, grave offenses and arguments are often settled with duels, which they regard as near sacred affairs. Enchanted items may be used, though outside magical aid is frowned upon, as it is intended to be a test of skill. Traditionally, the combatants salute one another with the phrase, "death before dishonor," as the duel commences. This sense of honor is largely reserved for their social peers, however. Due to the high prestige of the Chevalier in Orlais, they have free rein to do as they please with the common people. A Chevalier that abuses and even rapes or kills a commoner has done no wrong in the eyes of Orlesian law. An informal final test of the Chevalier's training is to be let loose on the streets in an inebriated state, expected to test their blade by murdering elves from Val Royeaux's alienage. In the Chevalier, we see an order of Theda's best-trained warriors, guided by the ethics of one of its most decadent and deeply elitist cultures. So, it took some doing to rein in my sense of disgust when I read about the Chevalier's graduation ritual. I don't mean the first time, I mean every time I read it. Even proofing my own script, I felt revolted, but I wanted to lay out the facts about the Chevalier, not dwell on moralizing. Just think about that the next time you play Dragon Age Inquisition. Every Chevalier you see and interact with, even the ones who seem nice enough, have killed some poor elven bystander as part of their graduation. They probably don't even feel bad about it. Well, that aside, I'm trying to get back into making some videos and thought I'd start with a short one. I'm trying to round out my Orlais content. Leave a comment, like, and I'll see you next time.